I'm live. Good. This is the Conscious Hour. We're tuning in. I'm here just getting ready to start learning how to get this machine working. And so the big question is this: what's the future of Israel? How is it going to survive? You see the destruction here. This is playing to the right of me. And as I had said before, when Iran and the other countries finally move to stop Israel, it'll take 24 to 48 hours. This is a map right here that shows the amount of bombing that's occurred in the last 24 hours. This is with hubris, the ego thinks that you're more powerful than anybody in the world. And this has been going on for a long time. The military industrial complex has been doing this type of wars for a long time. And they waited patiently, meaning the Muslim world, the Arabs, the Muslims, we'll call them the people that are indigenous to the area. They've always known who the U.S. was in the military machine. And now Netanyahu, representing the military industrial complex, kind of the leader of it, is in hiding. Yeah, he left the country. He left the country so everybody else can suffer, and he can be living on a Greek island temporarily till somebody tries to hunt him down, and he'll be running around the world hiding. But this could have all been avoided, but it's not, and here it is. So the hypersonic missile strikes will continue until they've reached their final endpoint, which is to destroy all of the technical infrastructure of the IDF, to destroy the airfields, the oil reserves, basically to reset Israel. The question is, will it reset and people learn that we've all witnessed the destruction of the military-industrial complex and the hundreds of billions of dollars that they've been spending, hundreds of quadrillions, trillions of dollars that they've spent since Vietnam, never ending. And then we find out now in the current day that Mossad, CIA, they're all the same. Yeah, the big military-industrial complex. So what's Congress going to do? We have people that are pro-Trump who support this. Still, I think the numbers will change when they see the massive destruction. And what I noticed as an elder, that the new people in the administration are about egos and being important, not about serving the American public. This whole thing's a political agenda. And Trump had to come back to show to the world what the U.S. is really about. So if you looked at his birthday celebration, his birthday celebration was a flop. Why? Because people see clearly now who Donald Trump is. And remember, all our tax dollars, huge portion of our tax dollars, has been spent doing this around the world. And Israel has been the driver, Mossad, and the CIA, and the globalists. And now there's Judgment Day. So, what do you think is the future? You can leave comments on the Conscious Hour. I'd like to hear from people who want to say, I think the future could look like this. I'm a futurist. I think we can get beyond this. But we had to come to this point in time where the world can witness the final judgment day for what I would call the obese military industrial complex 750 military bases around the world by the US, and it's time to bring our soldiers home. We don't need to be the policemen of the world because we aren't. We're the destroyers. Look who we are. This is unquestionable. This isn't something you make up in your mind. If you were around when Vietnam was going on, there's a lot of us still alive. We know that war was a lie. We know every war after that was a lie. We know the bombing of the Morrow building was a setup. We know the bombing of the Twin Towers. Yes, it was a implosion. It was a controlled demolition. I knew it on the day of the event. How did I know it? Because I watched the first building ever to be imploded in Hawaii in 2000, or probably 1975 or 6. The first building ever imploded. And then it's 1978, I got a call from the same friend of mine, and he said, hey, my father's doing a building in San Francisco. So I went and watched that implosion. So when the Twin Towers were hit by a plane, it was pure bullshit. Now, for the lemming, pardon me, I don't mean any derogatory, but for people that don't understand technology and science and architecture and design and all that kind of stuff, when you take a plane that's 174 feet long, we'll say in the fuselage, or 174 feet wingspan and 210 feet, 20 feet, whatever, a fuselage, and it runs into a metal building, do you think it's going to go inside the building? It's impossible. But they use the word, oh, look, it's a plane that hit the towers. And so your mind sees a plane. But if you go back and play the footage, you'll see that it's impossible. Because if a plane hit the tower, the wings would break off. The tail section would break off. The engines would hit the steel and fall to the ground. Nothing fell from the ground. So they use a thing called post-suggestion. Oh, look, it's a plane, and your brain sees that and justifies it. So let's talk about the missile that hit the Pentagon. A friend of mine said, oh, it was a plane, and we've got proof. I said, really? I talked to him in 21. He's a Zionist. And I said, really? It's a plane. Okay, show me where the fuselage is in the grass. Just the fuselage. You think the fuselage is going to go all the way through that hole and all the wings are going to break off and it's not going to be there? It's just going to go in the hole? You see, this is the power of that hypnotic suggestion. It's Hollywood. Just think of Hollywood. They bring out all the battle shows and the sex shows and all that. And we get left, right, left brain. They play us. But when you're an analyst, you don't look at the bullshit. You just look at you watch. You become an independent observer. You sit back, no opinion, watch. This is what we do at the Conscious Hour. We don't have an opinion on something. Opinions are a dime a dozen. We look at the issue. We define what's really going on. And then if it's something that needs to be corrected, we bring out solutions. So the Conscious Hour is about bringing together a future of the New World Order. Unless, of course, if you like this world order. Now, this world order is just what they love. More money for them. Yes, they just think how much money Marietta, Boeing, Lockheed, all the SpaceX, all these companies are making off this war. And they're preparing for more. Yeah, because remember, there's all these people coming to get us. Do you know what came to get us and got us? Zionism. Yep. They control all of our congressional people, 93%. Somebody put out a number, 88%. It used to be 93%. Maybe it dropped to 88%. Maybe it dropped less than that now because most of them are going, I shouldn't have been taking money from the lobbyists of Israel because look who they are. This wasn't the Islamic Republic problem. This wasn't Muslim problem. This is a white extremist problem, thinking that they're better than anyone else in the world. So we keep watching this. I keep playing this video here because all the strategic targets in Israel will be gone. Gone. Mm-hmm. And Iran warned us that said, if you go further, then we will retaliate and we won't stop until it's over. Why? Because, pardon me, they have to eradicate the disease. And the only way you're going to do it is exactly what's happening now. For their arrogance, Netanyahu, I'll pick on Netanyahu. Netanyahu's arrogance, Milaskovsky, was so incredibly racist that it was just a matter of time before he set off his own time bomb. And he left. That's the kind of leader you have. Oh, well, if tough gets tough, I'm leaving. Let them suffer. Well, maybe sunbathing on an island, but I don't think there's any place in the world he can hide. No. Mm-mm. Not when you look at Trump's parade, which shows clearly that the United States is waking up. Thank you, Republicans. Thank you, Democrats. Thank you, Independents. It's our country. It's not theirs. Nope. It's not theirs. I have a hat on. This is Tuckwitz Canyon. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's actually a very nice hat. What's Tuckwitz Canyon? It's a canyon down in Palm Springs, and it's a very sacred place for all the ancestors. Indigenous. That's kind of like the shirt I'm wearing today. Indigenous. What's indigenous? Indigenous means the people that are from the earth lived here forever, and they live in harmony. Yeah. Look at the Native Americans. We put them on reservations. Mm-hmm. They had a big reservation. There were no borders. There were no boundaries. There were no passports needed. Now, in the indigenous time, you think they needed border patrol, customs patrol, so the white people can be separated from the other colored people? No. Indigenous people are people that accept life. And when the military-industrial complex came, when they came to America, they had to get rid of these people because they couldn't control them. They couldn't control them. Oh no, oh my God, these savages. Savages? No, the savages were the white people destroying these native indigenous people. Wow, kind of like those Palestinians. Those white boys never thought about that, did they? No, they just thought about building the Greater Israel Project. Oh, how fun. Yes, we can have a new Las Vegas along the whole coastline. And then we can steal all the oil reserves and gas reserves out there. And that's all done. That world's done. Done, done, done. It's just a matter of time. So my question is to the Arab world. And all the wealth that you have there in all those beautiful countries. I like to kind of go to those countries and see those super skyscrapers and future cities. I think that would be fun. But then I'd ask the question, it's not bad having a futuristic vision of the world, but we have to have a futuristic vision of the world that includes everyone, every living being on the planet. No more wars, no more big toys and big games. And, oh, I got to have this battleship and lots of these planes and lots of weapons because there's somebody's coming to get us. Fuck that. It's just a profit-making machine for a bunch of investors. And they have so much wealth in this military-industrial complex where BlackRock controlled 88% of the wealth. One corporation. 88% of the wealth of America. Do you see that the monopoly game on steroids has fucking come to an end? Look at Israel. Just watch that. Mm-hmm. The total destruction. Look at how they left Gaza. and Rafah. Look what the IDF has done to this innocent people, the Palestinian people. They didn't cause 911. They are the enemy. But they kept saying, oh, that the Hamas is a terrorist organization. Bullshit. Hamas is a resistance organization that was there to protect the Palestinian people. Kind of like our National Guard, if you wanted to say, except our National Guard's kind of slipped off the side right now. They'll get back on track, I think. But anyway, so the big question is, are you ready to take a stance to hold your government officials accountable? And how you hold them accountable is very simple. You vote them out. Don't put on your blue hat or your red hat. Put your brain together. In fact, I think we'll make a new blue hat, red hat. It'll be blue and red right down the middle. And it'll be called the Conscious Hour. I think that's a great idea. I think I'll come out with a new hat. Then everybody can wear the hat, which means your left brain and your right brain talk to each other. What a concept. And politics, dead on arrival. We don't need politics. You know what we need politicians to do? One thing, manage your country for everyone, not for the corporations, for everyone. Just, those communists, you talk about China. Look what China's done. Has the best high-speed rails in the world, fastest high-speed rails in the world, the largest underwater tunnel. They've got incredible technology development that they've rolled out that the U.S. is like still on the old trains from the turn of the century. I mean, the technology that China has is absolutely phenomenally amazing, and the beautiful cities they're building. Look at America. Just look at America. And then go on YouTube and look up China and look at what they've built. Now, they aren't out invading countries. Hell no. They're just out there doing one thing, building a nation to support their people. And they call it, communism. Well, maybe we should be communists. Think about the people. What a concept. Build for the people, build for the future. Well, we're going to be able to do that now because the Western military industrial complex has exposed itself so much and so rudely that's why BRICS is out there. 44 nations now that have said, pardon me, fuck you, West. We don't need you anymore. Your business model sucks. In fact, it does more than that. Look what it does. This is them getting slapped hard because Iran the negotiators tried hard to say, hey, you need to learn respect. You need to learn respect for all life. But what did the military industrial complex do? Bomb the fuck out of everything. Yeah. Killing hundreds of thousands of Palestinians, leveling Gaza, Rafah, just why? Because it's cheaper to use U.S. taxpayer dollars to demolish everything than it is to come in and remove every building and build a new future. Yeah, this is how evil it is. Hey, we could use the military to wipe out the entire people so we can go in there and build a brand new future city. And Jared Kushner was smiling about this. These little zygotes running around. Look how Pete Hegseth, look at his attitude. Oh, we're powerful, we're mighty, I'm in control. And look at Donald Trump. When he finally had a reality check at his, quote, President's Day. That's probably the biggest reality check that's ever hit him in the face and in his heart. And it probably disrupted his soul a little bit. I don't think there's much hope for that man being reformed or any of his followers because all they believe in is money. Oh, I got to get more money. Let me ask you a question. Average American. According to the government, a livable wage is $79,000 to $80,500. Do you make that? Nope. What if every American made that? How would that change your life? You'd have freedom. Mhm. So, since our money's not backed in gold, we can do one fucking thing. We can be smart. We can say, hey, we, the federal government, is going to give you a card, and it's going to have 80,000 credits on it. Every one of the Americans from 14 years on, every year gets their card with 80,000 credits. You want to wipe poverty off the world, off the face of the earth? There it is. Because when the average person in America has 80,000 credits, you know what they're going to do? Probably they won't do the work they do. And then robots can take them over. But they'll do something creative with their life because they can have a future. So why are we playing this game with Bitcoin, shitcoins, titcoins, and all this thing? Because it's the natural progression from this monopoly game to create a lot of data centers and high technology. And we have to have these coins and trade here, and you can bet on this. It's the casino game of Las Vegas. Yeah, the casino game of Las Vegas. That's all it is. And it's not creating a future. So now you're going to get your credit every year and watch the world change. And then eventually, I'm a futurist too. There'll be no borders. Imagine that. What do we need countries for? Countries are created so oligarchs can control. That's it. Look what they did to Muammar Gaddafi. Yeah, he was a really cool guy when they killed him. Bitch, Clinton. I was pissed. Because why? Because the guy was building a future for all the people in Africa. The whole northern coast of Africa was going to have the largest water system to create agriculture, to create food. He created the African dollar so they could have their own sovereignty. Oof, the West didn't like that. Wait a second, that guy was an asset to us. Now he's an ass. Let's kill him. Saddam Hussein was an asset to us. Yeah. Yeah. The U.S. government used to work with him all the time. He was an asset of the CIA, and they actually gave him enough money to build a bioweapons lab so he could do that. And then he did the Kurds. So what did they do? They blamed everything that happened to the Kurds on Saddam Hussein, that he was a ruthless terrorist. That was one of their justifications. That's what the CIA does. They set you up here, and then they play you off here, and then they come after you. Yeah. They went after me. That's why I'm going to broadcast this right now. Yeah. Hubert Walker Bush, when he was president, came up with this lame, harebrained idea. Hey, we're going to start a new nuclear weapons complex. We need to produce 2,000 more nuclear weapons. I looked at this and I went, what the fuck? We already had 6,000 nuclear weapons, and he wanted to produce more. So I got a phone call from Greenpeace. Tom Clements called me up, and he says, hey, do you want to go to Washington, D.C. and for lobby days? And I said, yeah, I guess so. I've never been to lobby days, but I'll go. So the first person I met with was Ted Kennedy, and he had the Plutonium Control Act. And I asked Ted, there was like 6 people in the room with me. I said, how many signatures do you have? He says, I've got 5. I said, give me a whole bunch of these, the pages of documents, and let me take them with me. I'll be here for a week. And so I did. And I took it to every congressional representative I met, and every one of them signed on. There were 12. And then eventually they passed the Plutonium Control Act, right? Meaning we don't need to have more nuclear weapons. And in that process, we had all these public meetings about Complex 21, and they were going to use Hanford for producing more plutonium. Well, I was very instrumental educating the public about this. And I created a t-shirt. Visuals are perfect. It said, just say no to Complex 21. And it had a circle around it, like just say no to Complex 21, like Ronald Reagan back in the old days. Anyways, I put this shirt out. We had like 150 sponsors on, like big corporations like Nike, etc. And we put it out. We took these shirts and we sent it to every public meeting in the country. And they had them all around the country. It took 2.5 years. When they got done, the head guy, John Mecca, came up to me at the Federal Building at Hanford when they announced the end of it. It was a Friday night or something. And he said, I want to thank you. And I said, for what? He says, you stopped him. I said, I didn't stop him. He goes, oh, no, you did. He says, I'm glad, because it's the craziest fucking thing he'd ever heard of, and he didn't support it, building more nuclear weapons. So time flashes forward. So in 1993, I found out, pardon me, that was 1991. So in 2014, I had a pistol that I wanted to take to an FFL, turned it in, and sell. It didn't sell. So what did I do? Went to go get it back. And he said, oh, you have to do a background check on you. I said, what? Background check? Oh, okay, whatever. My gun, I don't know why you do a background check. I took my gun and they know it's my gun, but that's okay. They did a background check. And he says, well, no, you got something on your record. So then I called NICS, National Information Something Database System. And I said, petition, please give me the documentation that shows you that I have a record or felon or whatever. They never answered. And I went, what the fuck? So what I did is I called U.S. Customs Border Patrol. I talked to a guy named Charlie down there, and I said, hey, Charlie, what are you doing? Not much, just sitting around here. I said, you want to do something fun? I said, this is what I got. I explained to him what I got. Something's on my record. Well, about half hour later, he came back. He said, well, according to this, in 1995, you were in prison. Really? I was in prison in 1995. This is exciting. Let's see, 1995. I applied to be the director of the cleanup for the Hanford nuclear site for Washington State. I applied to be the director of cleanup for Hanford at the Department of Energy in Washington State. And I applied to be the cleanup director for the nation in Washington, D.C. in the same year. I guess I wasn't in prison, but it's on my record. This is what the CIA does. Yeah, they set you up so if you come out later, they can come get you. Well, fuck you, CIA. You actually should like what I do. You know why? Because if you guys truly are the Central Intelligence Agency, then you need to get intelligent and build democracies around the world. What's the future look like without Mossad and CIA? It's real simple. It's real simple. They're the intelligence agencies, right? Yeah, okay. I know about Mossad. Flush it down the toilet. It's just a killing machine. So CIA or Central Intelligence Agencies. So let's get fucking intelligent. Let's build a world order that works for everyone in the world. Let's create a world order that doesn't have boundaries and barriers, that is just based on commerce around the world. Okay? And the last part is this. When we do this, we don't need governments. We don't need elected officials. We simply have a management system that keeps the operational functions of states, governments operating. But we don't have Congress and all this stuff. We don't need it. That's an old way of playing the game and controlling the ball. These rich motherfuckers, I say that, they'd fuck everything. They'd blow everything up in the world. They have got more than enough wealth to last them for eternity. So we're going to make a world now that represents we the people. This is the Conscious Hour. Thank you for tuning in, and I'm getting used to using my computer. So I don't know if you got any questions, let me know. So somebody's saying, if there was the truth, all immigrants would stay in their own countries. Okay, Fortuna. So Fortuna, listen, most people in the world don't travel. No, they live at home. So imagine this. Imagine a world where there were no countries. People would just be living at home, but they wouldn't be starving because they would all be getting a universal base credit that allows the people to live. So then once you have allowing people to live their own destiny, call it indigenous, the world thrives. The world thrives. It's simple. If all they want is money, and money doesn't exist because it's not backed in gold and silver, so they want credits, we can give them in the New World Order more credits than anybody could ever imagine. And then eventually, when we get down the road a little longer, we'll go, we got so many fucking credits. Why are we playing this game? Well, because that's the structure. I don't want to get too far out there, but there's another step of it, but that'd be too futuristic for most people. So who am I? I'm a guy that spent from the time I was born in 1952, when I finally woke up when I was 4 and 5 years old, I started figuring out why the world was so fucked up. And my life's journey, I spent my whole life creating solutions for problems. That's what I've done. So I went inside the Department of Energy, the Center for Disease Control, US EPA, all of those. I worked with people around the world on various issues. I've always been a consultant. Why? Because my dad told me something really important when I was a kid. He says, if you have a problem, define the problem and then fix it. Don't fuck around, just fix it. So somebody came in and says, the New World Order seems dark. Actually, yes, it is, because, one very popular person, I have a vision of a New World Order. And it was like, oh my God. Well, this is that order that they brought, okay? It was greed the machine. So when you start getting a Westerner talking about, I have a vision of a New World Order, you tell them to sit down, shut the fuck up. They're right here, witnessing right now is their New World Order. Israel's being, pardon me, Israel, unfortunately, somebody had to finally wake up and hit them, is making them wake up. But think about this. Iran is not trying to kill the people, not like the Zionists do, no, or Netanyahu, Milaskovsky does. Iran is simply liquidating the dark side of the moon, the war machine. If you can neutralize them to where they don't have weapons, where they don't have the power to continue their raping and pillaging of the world, I'm talking about CIA and Mossad, then it's done. And we're done. We're done. It's finally come. And I have to say something to the Shahs and the people that have been very patient, waiting. Unfortunately, hundreds of thousands of innocent people have died. They don't even want to talk about that. I'll bet that there's 600,000 Palestinians have lost their lives, considering the destruction. Yeah. And you think these people care about their future? The Zionists? No. They care now because they wonder what it's going to look like. So in the New World Order, we come together, we build a planet for everyone. It's our home. We build, just like China's been doing with the Belt Road Initiative, not blowing up countries, but building infrastructure, creating trade. And in the New World Order, we all can benefit from it. Yep, we all can benefit from it. What I mean is, if there was no Mossad or CIA, the warmongering people would be more than happy to stay in their land if that land was safe, no sanctity. That's exactly the truth. If there was no Mossad and there was no CIA, people would be able to live. So once we have that, we have what? We have indigenous people living. We don't have war. It's done. So what's the future look like for the military-industrial complex? Here it is. We take all the innovative technologies that are patented. There's millions of them. Well, I know of hundreds of them that absolutely solve every one of our problems. So we take the technologies that are sitting on the shelf, implement them. So it eliminates poverty. It eliminates climate change. And some people say, oh, climate change isn't real. Bullshit. Look at how hot it gets. These people, I'm going to fight about this. No. We can create a way. We have the technologies to create every solution we have. We live in a technological age. So anything that we have a problem with, we can implement it. The difference is we're going to be a world economy based on making it good for all people and not for a few nations that like to blow shit up. What can I do against the shadow banning of my channel? I don't know if it's been shadow banned yet. This is my first live broadcast. I've grown my audience. like in Facebook, if that counts, to like 7,500, which is minimal. But I have in the other network being out there, have got, oh my God, on some of my posts, I've had, 80,000, 90,000. What I'm trying to do right now is to start the conversation. The Conscious Hour is about bringing people together to have you dump the opposition. I'm going to challenge you on this. I'm going to challenge you on this. That's fine. Bring me your fears. I'm a mediator. I've set up federal advisory boards and created consensus advice for a long time. So I know how to work with people. And then we'll create the solutions. I'll give you one example. Years ago, there was a federal law called FACA, Federal Advisory Board Committee Act. I got the call. I went to Keystone, Colorado. I got involved setting up citizen advisory boards. And what's great about citizens advisory boards, like the Hanford Advisory Board, where we built nuclear weapons for the bomb, that citizen advisory board has 34 members. Imagine 34 people getting together and writing consensus advice. What a concept. It's called the collective consciousness. You have to agree. When you all get together, you got to create advice that works to solve the problem. So what that is that's creating the collective consciousness. So as my dad used to say, if you have a problem, define it, create a plan, and implement it. Well, we create a plan. We defined it. We created a plan. But what does the government do? They don't implement it because they just want to keep milking the old system. I caught him at Hanford, the most contaminated site in the United States, and I'll be dealing with that. They have another surprise coming. Yeah, I waited years for that one. And I walked back and found out, you didn't do this, and you didn't do this, and you didn't do this, and your budget went up $1 billion every year. Shame on you. That's what I do. I just like to hold people accountable, but I have fun doing it. I don't piss anybody off because they always see at the end of the tunnel, they're going to make a lot more money anyways by a new economy, by a new world order that's not based on war. Period. And the technology people in the war machine, they get to reboot to a whole new future. It's 3.0. It's not 2.0. It's too close. We can make bombs and do this. No. We get rid of the military industrial complex and they start creating all the technologies to solve all our problems around the world. We call it the Peace Corps. That's what the U.S. government does now. They bring peace to all the countries with all the technologies. How about that for their penance? From being the Diablo to being a country that supposedly is about the people. Can you get yourself to George Galloway or Judge Napolitano so that could be exposed more? Fortuna, if you want to recommend me, that would be fantastic. Anybody that's watching this, just take this if you can. I'm going to save it in the library. I guess I can save it. I'm new to this whole presentation. Share this. I'm here to serve. Okay. Yeah. So you can call me the conductor. I asked myself that question about 6 months ago. I said, who am I? What am I doing? Why am I spending all this money? I spent $70,000 of my own money on just getting this thing up. I said, who am I? The conductor. I bring people together. I roll out the plan for heaven on earth. It's real simple. And the people that own the goods and services, don't forget, folks, you're going to make more credits because you already own everything. So sit down, shut up, and let's have a new world order. What do you think? Let's see. What other comments do we have here? So Fortuna, where are you from? What part of the world? Let's see here. Oh, it says you can't post comments to certain locations. That's interesting. It's interesting how this. So with that, I think. Oh, you're from the Netherlands. I love the Netherlands. I was in Amsterdam a long time ago. First time I went to Amsterdam was it would have been March of 1971. Yeah. I left America because I was tired of it and listening to the bullshit. So I went to Europe for 8 months and realized, I'd been there before. Oh yeah. I'd been a lot of places. Den Haag. Yeah, I've been there. Yeah. Hey, let me ask you a question since you and you're online. Do you believe in reincarnation? Have you ever had that deja vu experience? Yeah, he's looking, wow, 1971. Yeah, I look pretty good for 73 years old. I'm kind of like a Timex watch. I just keep on ticking. I never get sick. I've always been in good health. I eat right. I live right because I love life. Nope, I want to know more. Okay. Um, Reincarnation. Reincarnation is an interesting one. Have you ever had that experience where you have a flash? You go, God, I've been there before. Okay. So I tell people you have. So think of it this way: you have a soul, right? You're born, your mom and dad had sperm, they had an egg, and you popped out, right? Okay. So you got that. Okay. So you take that and then you go, well, wait a second. I have these flashes sometimes, like I know something, and it's like you keep getting these flashbacks about something familiar. When you get those flashbacks, go into the flashback, go into that thought. And when you do, you'll find out you're connecting to something that you didn't know you knew, but you do know. So think of a soul traveling through time. So when I went to Europe, I landed in Liechtenstein, and then I went to Austria, worked in a little ski factory for about a month and a half because it was head ski factory. And I realized I didn't want to be in the ski business. I really wanted to figure out the world. So I traveled. When I went to Munich, I'd been there before. I could walk around downtown Munich like I'd been there. I didn't know that I'd been there, but I did. I took a train and went to Berlin because I wanted to go across the Berlin Wall in 1971 because it was open at that time. And so I got to Berlin. I got off the Bahnhof North, and I walked right to the wall. I went through the checkpoint there. It was really easy to go through, show your ID, go through. And I found this little Konditorei, a bakery. You don't know what a Konditorei is. And they were all gray. All the buildings were gray. There was no paint. So it was really cool compared to what I was from, lots of painted different colors. And there was this guy sitting in there. He was a Russian, and he was having some coffee. And he said, hey, you want to join me? I said, sure. So I sat down. We sat and talked. I had a chocolate croissant and a cup of coffee. And we talked. And when he talked, I was like I had been there before. In fact, I had an uncle when I was a little kid that told me when I was 5 years old that the Russians weren't our enemy, even though I was being told that the Russians were going to come and bomb us. And my uncle told me that was bullshit. So I was laying underneath my table every time we had an air raid siren. Well, by third grade, I got tired of that. And I finally just looked at the teacher. I was laughing, and she said, Greg, stand up. What are you laughing at? And I said, why are we underneath our desk? Our desk is, the bomb's going to kill us. We're all going to be dead. And she looked at me and she said, what else? I said, when the Russians weren't our enemy. And she looked at me like laser beams. So going back to that deja vu experience, other cities I've been to, Dusseldorf. I went there for a trade show. I was in the windsurfing business, and I could drive from the airport right to the hotel. And my wife was with me. She goes, how do you know where you're going? I said, I know. I'll just get there. Don't worry about it. Okay. But back in 1971, I got a motorcycle in England, came south, went to Paris. I could drive through Paris like I'd been there, like I'd lived there my whole life. So I knew that I had been reincarnated. We all have these flashes. So to help you with the flashes, when you have something that is like a flashback in time, go into that vision that you have. And it'll start opening up a whole bunch of other doors to make you understand that, yes, you have been here before. So you get that brainstorm sometimes, like, God, that's a perfect idea. Yes, it's called the collective consciousness. So what's the conscious hour about? The conscious hour is about bringing the collective consciousness together because it has the solutions. It doesn't have politics involved. What are the game playing? And we create solutions for everybody. So your suggestion about being with Judge Napolitano, I'd love to be on all of these shows. Why? Because I don't want to have a discussion about all the crap. I want to have a discussion about how the crap needs to be fixed and what do we have for solutions and how we can bring the world together. So this is my first podcast. So check me out on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, basically all the other major platforms I'm on. And Facebook, I've got lots of different pages, but you can get me under the Conscious Hour. And my name is Gregory DeBruler. I'm taking my mother's name now and making it a much longer name like they do in Central America. My name is Gregory Lee Francis. That's my mom's name. Agnetti, that's my mom's maiden name. DeBruler, and that's my last name. And what does DeBruler mean? Interesting. It means hot fire. So See, oh, it's interesting. I'm looking over at this photo here. Talking about synchronization. Look, the fire. I'm a hot fire, but I don't cause that kind of fire. I cause a conscious fire in people. And I've been very successful. Like I said, these citizen advisory boards, imagine a long-haired hippie coming in there and telling the Department of Energy, not telling him, giving him ideas, and they come to you and say, hey, would you be involved helping us make better decisions? That's what I did, just because of my father. If you got a problem, define the problem. Fix it. Don't bitch. Define what the problem is, create a solution, and fix the fucking thing. So it's time now to fix the new world order. And the Conscious Hour is about the collective consciousness coming together. I'm a facilitator, and facilitate the dialogue so we can have one global world where it's peace and love and respect. Look forward to hearing more from you, Fortuna. Thank you for hanging in there. And if I get to the other side, we'll have to have a coffee and have a conversation. Look forward to it. Thanks for tuning in, and take care. Okay. Hey, Rod. What do I do now? I hit end.
Okay, good.
How do we save it? Or it's already saved?
Yeah, it's don't shut that window, but
I'm not gonna touch it. I'm gonna touch it. I'm gonna blow it up.
Let's go to another browser. Let's see, Safari.
The guy was in the Netherlands.
I checked and you were live.
Yeah.
You were live on Facebook and YouTube at the same time.
Oh, fuck yes.
Numerous countries have followed the United States in placing sanctions on Russia.
And you have a video right here, right, on how to do it.
Is it still playing?
Probably.
I don't think I turned it off.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. Oh, I did. Okay.
Okay, pull up the video, make sure it works. Six minutes. Okay, good. It's gonna work.
Okay.
So you got to use that video. You got to make sure you actually send it over to your computer. Maybe I don't know. Maybe you can't.
Oh, sure. Well, actually, I can watch it. It's because they have it on there. I'd have to watch it on here. I'll just keep it on here.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Just want to make sure you do it right. Okay, so we're just going in from another.
He said I should be on Judge Napolitano and all these other ones.
I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oops. I don't want to switch accounts, so let's not do that. So here's your video. It's already on Facebook, but content, and you go live. There it is. There's your video. And you can edit it now too if you wanted to change the description a little bit. Since and you can take this ad out for your stream. They just
I get a $10 discount.
Yeah,
every time I do a post, I get a $10 discount. So I get lots of credits.
Is this made for kids? No.
It's not made for kids.
So this way we can.
World War III, you could put it under.
Okay.
Okay, so that's YouTube channel. Oh, so I could put it in other channels too then. Like go to what was that channel one you just looked at?
Hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's see if there's anything else.
Oh, hey, wait, up here. I could add something. What does the future of the world look? What does the future of the world look like? Or what's coming for next for Israel? What does this mean for Israel's future? And then underneath put, what does it mean for the world, for a new world order? Or how about it here? Sure. How did you get the little icon, the little faces show up? What'd you hit to get the little, nope, let's talk. Wait,
you hit
which one?
Function one time. Eat that.
Oh, that's where they hide out. and I couldn't figure out where they went. Face, you put the little 2 eyeballs.
Here, I just want to make sure we can save it. So you can go in and edit
Yeah.
later.
But we see.
But now it should be available for people to watch.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yes.
Okay, so yeah. So remember, and then the other day you text me and said, put those videos up, and I'd already done it. But you probably went here and didn't see them.
Oh, okay.
You just have to go look in short sometimes.
Oh, okay.
There's one video that's not up yet. I could put that up, but it's just the one about. It wasn't about the riots. I can't.
The Native Americans ones, or no?
No, that's up there.
Oh, it's one that you said you hadn't posted yet here.
There's only one.
Oh, over here. You mean you have, or in the thing it hasn't been published.
No, I
Okay.
haven't uploaded.
Oh, okay,
It
okay,
was just one. It
Yeah.
was not on. It wasn't like a hot topic.
right. Is it about naked girls or something?
It's something we shot already.
Oh.
Oh, it's something about how to meet girls at landfills.
So my frustration is I'm so on it that I just need the audience. I need to really, it's like there's a vacuum right now.
Yeah,
I mean, especially when you saw Trump's parade.
I would.
Here's a
Here's what I would
vacuum.
do.
Go
I
ahead.
would write yourself a little outline for every time you go live, and I would stick to that script.
Mhm.
You ended up talking about.
Well, sure, because I had an opportunity just to get used to it and do story time.
Right.
But the whole
I'd
story's
rather have
there.
to do more
Shorts,
shorts.
Right.
Not shorts, just shorter.
shorters.
More specific topics
Right.
because one, you're going to get you'll learn how to use it.
Right.
Two, that's going to retain people better.
Right.
If they hear you going over here and talking about
Right,
nuclear, and
right,
you're
right.
talking about Israel, and you're talking about
Right.
Native Americans, all of a sudden they'll tune out. So I think you get to do so anyway. You make an outline. You go, okay, today I'm going to talk about Israel. You write down the
Right,
description
right.
and stick to
No,
that.
I
and then
can do
edit.
that. I can do that. Yeah.
Because it's alive, but it's not alive. It's video, right?
Right.
This is now it's a video. It lives up there forever.
Right. So what's nice about what I did was there's a whole bunch of sections in there. So I can literally take those and pull those pieces out
You'll never do it.
in
You
different
you'll
in different sections. Because there's a whole bunch of different topics. That's why I was doing it that way. I was taking the topic here, a topic here, and a topic there, and a topic
just
there.
stop and record another one.
But when you have a guy live, I mean, the guy was there and he was asking me questions, right?
Okay.
So I just kept going on it. Yeah.
All right. Well.
Yeah. I mean, I understand. No, I understand what you're saying to do. I got that.
Yeah.
But I figured this opportunity was, I might as well tell my story. Are you still recording? No. It's looking at me. It's live again.
You never hit end stream?
I ended it. Get rid of it.